This is my video on kitchen stories from the January Challenge 2022. What I'm drawing here is part of my kitchen story. It's about a food processor. When we moved into our house about 15 years ago, we were given a food processor as a present from my mum. Um, and we put it in a box. It lived in a cupboard in a box for a long time, and in that time I'd attempted to make cakes and failed dismally because there's a lot of mixing involved, and you have to be quite exact if you're making sort of certain cakes, and we just didn't think to get the food processor out. A very expensive present as well. And then I think about 3 years ago, we actually got it out of the box and moved it into the cupboard so that it was accessible, and we washed up all the utensils. And yeah, during lockdown, I think I started using it for the first time, and it transformed my life in so many ways. So this is homage to that find of working out that the food processor was much better than me hand mixing stuff. So at the screen you can see that I'm doing a pencil drawing, just getting the bits of the picture in place. The food processor, the spatula spoon, and then the scales. Using a very sketchy line, not trying to be accurate, but at the same time not trying to make it look too cartoony. So all the elements kind of work together, trying to make it look a little bit 3D as well as we go. Adding buttons again for the scales, but as you can see, it's a very loose drawing. There's no attempt to be accurate here, and I'm just linking together all the elements at the moment that have been drawn, with a shadow that's going to run across this picture when I start to paint in a minute. The cakes that we started to make during lockdown very much came from Mary Berry cookbook. Mary Berry is a British or talented cook, so we were doing recipes of hers, and one that we particularly liked was lemon cake, and so this is very much a lemon cake mixture that's in the food processor. Just putting a bag of flour in now. Funny enough, flour during the lockdown became a bit of a thing. There's some eggs now. I'm just sketching in. We were told that because of the lockdown and because of the way things are being manufactured, and there's Brexit, there's all sorts of things going on, that flour might become a problem to get hold of. So we did have lots of bags of flour in the house as well during lockdown. As you see, I'm just almost coming to the end of this drawing now. I'm just going through and putting some shading on areas to make things a little bit more 3D, make the plastic a bit more see-through. The line drawing is kind of there really, and I've just taken the elements that I wanted and moved a few things about, like the bag of flour, the eggs, moved them about a bit, and I'm just adding a plug now. I don't know why I felt that was necessary, or even to now I don't know why I felt this is necessary, but I think adding a plug there just to illustrate the fact that this thing is plugged in, very important. When my brain was busy sketching this, and it's funny what you will pick up when if you turn your brain off and just draw. It's very strange what sort of image you end up with. Again, just going back over the shadows, making sure they're dark enough, and the objects that are sort of jumping off the page, really, the eggs and the scales particularly. A little bit more shadow on that last egg. A lot of eggs in a lemon cake. 4 eggs in a lemon cake. That's quite a big thing. The other element of this picture is some collage that I thought I'd add with my food stories. This is the lemon cake once finished out of the oven, and in the top left hand corner is a it's a it's a set of very evil-looking eyes, and they're evil-looking for a reason. It's my father-in-law who had some mince pies at Christmas, some special mince pies, and I ate two, and there was two left, and he offered me one, and I kind of said, yeah, I'll have one, and normally I'm quite polite and say, no, you have it, but those are the evil eyes as I demolished another mince pie, one of his favourites, during the Christmas period. I'm just going to apply some paint to this image now, the yellow mixture of um, the cake and the eggs. I'm just going to use some very simple brush strokes here. And as you can see, I'm holding the brush at the very end of the brush, not near the tip of the brush. And this doesn't allow you too much control, but I like that, if I'm honest, because you can get some very sketchy lines that kind of match the drawing, and I'm not trying to fill in the drawing here. I'm just trying to put the watercolor on the paper around the lines. The lines are really a guideline. They're not to be followed, particularly when I sketch. And you'll see, yeah, by holding the brush right at the end of the brush, you lose control, and you're able to put much more interesting and fluid paint lines down on your page. Just dragging that blue shadow through the items on the worktop there, adding a bit of shadow to the scales just to delineate them from the desk that they're sat on, and carrying on through the shadows. The flower I can just darken immediately, because that's going to be dark on that side anyway, so I'm just going to put lots of shadow over there and against the eggs, and all the paint is wet at this point. Anything that's going to touch is going to run, but I'm not too worried about that. It's flour in the bowl, so I'm just going to put some blue shadow down one side of the flour, and also on the packet of flour just a little bit of blue, because there was some blue text on it. Again, not trying to fill in the shape, but kind of suggesting where the words and the writing is on the packet. Dark blue line on the plate of the measuring scale, and a blue shadow on the side of the plate. I do this as well sometimes. I just add a little bit of blue to a very light shape, just to pull out the white shape. If you just do white against white, it doesn't sort of hang well for me, so I put a blue shape next to the white areas to help them a little bit. The bottom picture of a seagull is another one of my food favourites. It's a pasty. We go down to Tenby in Wales a lot, and there's a marvellous pasty shop right at the top on the hills, and you go in and you go in one door, order your pasty, and come out the other door with these sort of hot packages of meat and pastry, and then we go down either onto the beach and eat them, or we do sort of spend time on the cliff overlooking the beach if the tide's in, eating these pasties, which are, like I say, just wonderful things. Probably sort of very basic food if you get into it, but marvellous, absolute marvellous flavours. And the cheeky cheeky seagull is on there, because there's a lot of seagulls down in Tenby, and they do tend to try to nick your food if you're not careful. You'll see that I've been putting some pastel work over this image, going into the black and white photos, adding some colour. I always print my photos out in black and white, in part because we've only got a black and white mono printer, but also I kind of quite like the effect. I've done this for a very long time. If I do use collage, I will print out in black and white and then add my own colour to it. You get a kind of, I feel, a better unity to your picture. And as you can see, I'm not, again, filling in the lines. I'm just kind of using the lines as a guide, and adding my colour around the lines where I think it's appropriate. Particularly important on the black and white pictures, because you've got no no actual line there, but just a bit of colour makes those shapes pop out. And I think I'm going to probably spend some time this year doing some abstract work, looking at shape and colour. I feel it's an area I've never really explored with my art, and I just feel like it would be a good way to go. Filling in the lemon there, some more just yellow pastel, just smack it on. And I'm standing back from this as well. I'm not leaning and right up close. I'm standing back and just seeing what those marks look like, reassessing it, and then adding some more. I'm putting some white on now for the seagull, just to bring the seagull out of the piece of coloured card that it's drawn on. Adding some white to the brush that I used to put over the lemon juice, over the lemon cake, and highlighting again bits of the lemon cake, just to make it the black and white image pop a bit more, and also to match in with the blue and yellow that is included in the picture of the food processor at the top of the page. All in all, I think this is kind of a nice scrapbook page, but it's also a lot of nice ideas that I can use for paintings in the future. Particularly, I think I've got an idea for a cartoon for the mince pies and the seagull, but maybe I'll do a still life of colours and shapes for the food processor and the lemons. I'm just going to add in now some darker tones on the watercolour. It's all dry, just to help bring it out a bit more, and you can see that I've done that, just helping the darker side of the images. So anyway, thanks for watching.